Jason, and tonight we are going to be talking to you guys about the reason why we're still in quarantine. But first, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to become part of the family. With that said, let's just get into it and let's get started.
Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about today is just the struggle of quarantine itself. So we used to, hang out at the park. We used to go to the zoo. We used to do all sorts of things with friends locally. And for Annie and Sawyer, now all of a sudden with quarantine, when it just, obviously it happened just like that when it first happened. They just lost all that routine, all those friends that they were hanging out with, and now it's just this whole change and new world. And we were trying to figure out a new routine at that time too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and also to mention, they were excited for Sawyer's birthday party to hang out with friends. Yeah. Annie was getting ready to have her party, but that all changed due to us having to flip the switch and find our new norm quick.
Right. And everybody, honestly knows what happened at that time. You didn't see all of this stuff coming as far as, the products that you couldn't get, to birthday parties you had to cancel, to get-togethers you had to cancel. Yeah. We had to cancel things last minute, the minute that things started shutting down here.
It happened so quick and so fast that we were taken back because we didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is not only friends, but family. We're gonna come out of town this year to see us on several occasions, and we've had to cancel because we're in quarantine. The other thing too is that with Annie and Sawyer, they're so used to seeing their family at least a couple times a year, their cousins, their grandparents, all of this just gone. So it's been a real adjustment, not only for them, which is the priority, but just for us to get on a new routine and fix everything that, it's like, and everyone knows you go from a routine that you were doing and so used to doing, and all of a sudden you have to change almost everything about your routine.
And keeping it to where the relationships with those friends and families are still constant in their lives and that they know them.
Right.
They still have a sense of knowledge who that person is.
Right.
We've noticed that with being in quarantine and not being able to see certain people and not talking to them as much, our kids are starting to feel a sense of stranger danger and sense of who is this person? Second questioning if they knew a specific person.
Yeah, family to friends with the age they are, which, Annie's 3 and Sawyer's 1, specifically with Annie.
Yeah.
If she doesn't see someone for a certain amount of time, she starts to forget who they are. Mm-hmm. There is some, regression there, not only with identifying who people are, but just, I'm sure when we go back to the park or, back to Disneyland or any kind of vacation, the zoo, the gym, it'll be wait a minute, what is this again? Because it's been that long.
And they've been with us for a long time.
Yeah.
So they haven't seen another human being besides mom and dad. So it's
right.
How do we go from a broad spectrum of people and places to go to just our tight-knit little place? And that struggle, to me, is the hardest.
Yeah, it's just them not going to the gym daycare, right? They were used to going, bye mom and dad, we're gonna go, hang out with our friends. And there were several daycares that they went to, depending on what we were doing. Mm-hmm. So they were making friends everywhere, and now all of a sudden it's okay, now months has gone by and they haven't done that at all. So there's going to be some regression there. And also the thing that everyone's dealing with too is all of these things, but including sports too. So because most sports have been canceled. Annie was going to play soccer this year again, and
it would be her second.
It would be your second year, but just playing those sports outside of the house too, there's some regression there. But we've been playing soccer, baseball, and basketball. We've been trying to get those things going, but there's something that they haven't been able to do is swim. So
then we try to do jumping off of something to be able to get her familiar with jumping into a pool, but it's not the same.
Right. And I think the thing is that Annie had been in swim for almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Sawyer had been in there since he was about 4 or 5 months old, and so there's going to be some definite regression there. And it just, I think every parent out there is feeling it. Whether it's sports, whether it's swim, whether it's peer play, it's horrible. And you never expect going through this, and now you're going to kind of go through this for a second time.
It's kind of hard because some people don't truly understand either, especially because they don't have young kids during the quarantine. They don't understand with the fact that our child does have a condition, which we'll get into that in a little bit, but they don't understand the fact of our choice. So us trying to explain to them, it's kind of a struggle too, because
it's trying to understand something that maybe you don't have experience in. But I think that the bottom line is beyond all that, I think every parent's struggling with just the regression of anything that they're missing right now.
We've been in quarantine for about 5 months, since March. The story of how quarantine started was crazy.
Well, yeah, I think like all of us, we didn't know it was coming. So we were all planning for Sawyer's first birthday party. You know, it's a big birthday, right? So we were getting everything ready. We were getting all the cups and silverware and all the decorations. We literally had it set up in our room to literally start to decorating the house, right? Because it was a Tuesday, and Ashley's parents were actually already here, and Sawyer's birthday was going to be on Saturday, right? So it was Tuesday that day. Yeah, his birthday party. We had family coming from out of town, out of state. Friends from out of state.
The whole 9 yards.
Yes. That day, Ashley's family came. Okay, right? Yeah. We're getting ready to put up decorations.
Excited. The kids were excited.
So then, of course, we start hearing news of, oh, wait.
We're in a pandemic.
It wasn't officially a pandemic at that point, but they were starting to actually
label it
and close businesses, right?
Yeah, so
we started
second
guessing the party at that point, and it came so suddenly, and we didn't know really what to do, because then, we have family coming out. We already had Ashley's parents here.
There was rumors that they were going to shut the border.
We were freaking out that they were going to shut the border down. And then Ashley's parents were like, "Oh, are we going to be able to get home now?"
Exactly.
It was so nuts.
It was nuts.
And then, we had all these people waiting on us to say, "Hey, are you going to do this?" And at that point, it's so early on, we didn't know how big it was going to become. And everybody was saying, "Oh, you can still have a party. Yeah, let's do this, right?"
And then they issued the fact that you can only have a gathering of 10 people or less. And we were like, 50 people.
Yeah, we had about 50 people coming. So then that night, I started talking to my family, and we went literally from decorating to having Ashley's family over to making phone calls.
To full panic attack.
Yeah, making phone calls and then basically saying on our invitations, sending an email back to everyone saying, we're actually going to cancel the party.
We're going to postpone it.
We literally had to turn around after Ashley's parents came that day and say, we feel that it's best that, everybody go home, even though you just got here.
Yeah, it sucked.
And it was tough because we don't get to see her family. We don't get to see my family. We don't get to see all these friends that were coming.
Yeah.
And
the only person that we really saw on a daily basis or a weekly basis was Jason's mom, because she lives like an hour away from us. So the fact that this event was like our family reunion, and it literally within like 30 minutes got obliterated.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think like everyone was, they didn't know what this meant. They didn't know what we were actually going to do, what the closing of businesses was going to happen, and what implications that would be. And then the parties were now shrunk to 10 people or less. How is all this going to work? And we ended up obviously canceling the party, telling my family and Ashley's family, everybody had to go back. And
we did celebrate a tiny little party for Sawyer via video chat, via my family being here. But it wasn't the same.
We didn't know when is he going to have a birthday party? Is Annie going to have a birthday party this year? Like, how's all this going to work? And when is this going to clear up? Everyone's going through this, canceling anniversaries, canceling birthday parties, canceling trips that they had planned. We had a trip to Disneyland this year. That got canceled.
And all of this said and done, the reason why we are still in quarantine and haven't left since March is because of Annie.
Yeah, so Annie has a condition that has no label, basically, which is confusing, I think, just as parents to hear that. It all started about...
It was about a month before I had Sawyer, so maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, so a month before Sawyer. So Annie had developed a cough with congestion, things like that, and
she had a fever too.
And she had a fever, And we
But
took
it was
her.
low grade. It wasn't high.
And we took her to the doctor.
Mind you, she had never had an ear infection. She was never really sick. She had fevers before and like colds, but never super sick.
Well, and they were really rare that she'd have them. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we took her to the doctor, and her pediatrician, she examined her and then started listening to her heart and her lungs. And I noticed too that pediatrician was not, you know how usually you go in?
Quiet.
No, when you usually go in, they check your heart and your lungs. And if they go by and they go, okay, 1, 2, 3, you know, and they go quickly and they're like, okay, everything sounds good. It wasn't quick. She was actually listening,
like
pausing, and then kind of go, like you could see it on her face that
she was the nurse practitioner.
She was struggling to hear her lungs, and then that's when right away I knew like what's going on here. Anyway, long story short, she came to us after examining Annie and said that
not only did she have an issue with her lungs, but she also had a double ear infection.
Yeah, so she had a double ear infection and pneumonia.
The start of pneumonia. So it wasn't like to the point where she needed to be hospitalized, but it was pneumonia.
Right. So basically, mind you,
I was not almost to the point of having Sawyer. I was 9 months pregnant. They were telling us that, oh, she's really sick. She might not be able to meet her brother.
Right, like, she can't be around you. And we were like, we didn't know what to do
because we've never dealt with being sick.
We'd never dealt with this before, and so close to having Sawyer. So we were freaking out. We were asking the pediatrician, what are we supposed to do? And how did this happen, you know? And
but she did reassure us. She was like, it's okay. This happens. It's very common with kids this age. Their lungs are still developing.
Right,
and mind you, I have child development background, but I never knew that kids' lungs were still developing at the age of 2. Like, we almost 2. I love our pediatrician in that sense that she reassured us that just a precaution, if it doesn't go away, keep her away from your newborn son. But she literally reassured us that it would go away within the time period.
Yeah, and so basically my reaction when she said, double ear infection, okay, so she has an ear infection. I'm familiar with those. I had an ear infection, when I was little. I get that. But hearing pneumonia did freak me out a little bit because I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what pneumonia was. And then she was saying, her oxygen levels were at 97, 96, and I did, what does that mean? Like, so they explained it to us, and I was asking the pediatrician, this seems bad. Like, I hear pneumonia, this seems bad. And she said, no, it can be common in this age. And I said, so what do we do? And so, they recommended obviously that she rested and we get the fever down, and
they gave us the nebulizer.
Yeah, they gave us a nebulizer and breathing treatment, and then we'd go from there. I think the first reaction is just of shock, and then especially with having a newborn coming soon, we would have handled it differently. Obviously, if we were seasoned parents, but because we were so brand new to all of this thing at once. So it was really tough. But
she got through it. She met her brother.
Yep.
And that was okay. But then about six months later, she got a cold.
Yep, and she got the congestion.
And mind you, every time we take her in, we're thinking, oh, okay, we're just going to take her in as a precaution.
Yeah.
Because she still has that cough. Why isn't the cough going away? But maybe it's just lingering and she's fine.
Right.
But every time we take her in, it's always something. And lo and behold, she had not yet one ear infection and pneumonia.
We took her in again, and then my reaction going in was, look, pneumonia was a one-time thing. I've heard of it when I was a kid. Someone has it, and then they never have it again. So we came in, and I was like, can we just double check, her lungs? And I at this point, it's on my mind, so I want to check it.
Yeah.
So they checked it, and again, I see the delay of, okay, I'm listening to her lungs, but I'm not hearing what I want to hear. I'm not hearing the clear air come out of her lungs. And so
then she told us that it was pneumonia again.
Yeah, we freaked out.
We were like, okay, what the heck is going on?
Going into it further, so this is the second time, we asked, why is this happening? And then they don't know. And they said it is common with someone her age. And then I said, I've never had pneumonia in my life, and so
I never
it
had
is
pneumonia either.
it is something that I'm not familiar with, and it does concern me as a parent, especially because she's gotten it twice in 6 months. Now we don't really know what it is. We discussed with the doctor that maybe this asthma or something, and they're like, it could be asthma. We don't know. It could be something that she just grows out of. We did end up taking her to an allergist. They checked her over, and they discovered that she did have allergies, right? But they ruled out asthma. And I said, okay, but she's had pneumonia. And she said, well, we're not sure what it could be at this point, but we're going to rule out asthma. But as she gets older, she can be tested further. But we're going to rule out asthma. She does have, minor allergies, and they gave her some, allergy medicine. And pretty much from that point on, she didn't have anything for a while. And then most recently, probably, I don't know, a couple months before the pandemic.
No, it was a couple of weeks before the pandemic.
So we took her in, and at this point, we already have at the house breathing treatments for her, and anytime she's a cough, now we know, we get right on top of it, that kind of thing. We took her in, and they said that she had bronchitis.
Yeah.
And, that's something that can lead to pneumonia. So we caught it, and this time around, we gave her the breathing treatment
higher dose of the breathing treatment.
Well, we gave it to her right away.
Yeah. And it went
just to
away
protect her, which is what the pediatrician said after the second time she got pneumonia.
Yeah.
So we did it right away. And
then she had us doing breathing treatments like every day.
Because we got on top of it right away, which is what pediatrician said, if she gets sick again with any kind of congestion, right away, start the breathing treatment. So we did, took her in, they said she had bronchitis, but no pneumonia. The theory right now that we're going with is what the pediatrician and the allergist both said, that it could be that you move different states and that her body is getting used to the new environment, and that's what's affecting her. Went from an environment that was warm weather pretty much the whole year, and it didn't really have seasons, it was California, to our new state where it's more dry, it can get a lot more hot. The bad news is that then with all this information, we had the pandemic. We did not want to take a chance of her getting COVID-19 because of how she's reacted to congestion in general.
A simple respiratory.
Right. But the only silver lining and good news is since we've been in quarantine, since that day to today, Annie has not been sick. She's not had a runny nose. She's had nothing in months.
Once we heard that it's a respiratory illness, that COVID-19 is a respiratory illness, we were like, lock it down, close it down, nobody comes over, wipe down everything, mask at all times when we go outside, wipe
clean everything,
take a shower right afterwards, like boom, boom, boom. We were on top of it. And we still are. Even 5 months has gone by, and we still do the same thing as if it was March, April, in June.
Actually, we just did a video about this, but the haul video that we just did.
Yeah, the grocery haul.
Ashley was in a mask. She cleans down all the groceries. Yeah. These are the kind of precautions we take. We wear masks when we're outside.
We do that with the Amazon boxes. We do that with getting the mail. Jason is the only one that drives our cars around to make sure that the cars are driving perfectly fine. We literally have not been anywhere besides our backyard or in our home.
Being in Arizona when the pandemic happened, our cases weren't, super high.
Really
low. Really low. But we wanted to take precautions just because of Annie's condition. So we started to look at, what trips we're going to do. We canceled all those. And then, with friends and family, obviously we wanted them here, but we couldn't have them here. And every single time we try and set something up, we always look at the numbers.
We did have we did have his mom over.
We did one time.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah, and that was, kind of a scary situation.
Yeah.
We talked about it in our previous vlog.
Yeah, the haircutting vlog.
The haircutting vlog, yeah. So it's heartbreaking because you're stuck between,
we want to get back to normal.
We want to get back to normal. We want Annie to be okay, and we want to see our family and friends. But every single time it comes up with going do something or having friends and family, which we try and plan something, we always look at the numbers, and at the end of the day we go with our priority, and we don't feel safe.
I feel like our gut feeling has been right this whole time too, because now if we look at the cases, all our cases are sky high.
They've been going higher and higher and higher, and we took precautions early on, right, when the numbers weren't that high. For instance, I think like anybody else, we changed the way that we were getting groceries and we were getting items. We were always a big fan of Amazon, but we really started getting a lot of things from Amazon, and then we looked into getting our groceries delivered because we always went to the grocery store.
We used to get our groceries from Sprouts and Walmart, and so we looked into seeing if there was a way to get them delivered to us, and there is.
Yeah.
Instacart does Sprouts, so we were on top of that. We signed up for Instacart, we got Sprouts, and then Walmart delivers, and we signed up for that. So now we don't go to the grocery store, because that was one of our fears, is having one of us have to go out and get something and then bring something back to Annie.
Right.
So we cut that out, and honestly, it's one of the easiest ways to get groceries now too.
As how heartbreaking it has been to say no to family and friends, because our priority is our daughter and making sure she's safe. The silver lining is that we've gotten creative. We've learned how to do new things. From the other day we busted out our virtual reality gear, and then we
rode rides at Disneyland.
Yeah, we rode rides at Disneyland through virtual reality, which Annie and Sawyer loved.
Annie loved it.
At the end of the day, it's been scary. It's been
a whirlwind.
Whirlwind. Everybody's going through this all at once, and it's just about the adjustments and doing everything you can to make it interesting and fun still, and seeing that silver lining, and that's what we're doing every day.
And we hope that it does end soon with good measure and good timing, and it takes its course, but then we can just get back to our normal life. Back to the way, not back to the way it was, but back to our new normal.
Right. And I think just looking at the future, we've learned so much over this time period on how to be creative and still have fun without going out. And
we've also grown as a family, being together so much, and we actually, in this quarantine, met you guys.
Exactly.
We made our YouTube channel.
We made the decision to do our YouTube channel, and you just don't know what's going to happen, and what happens in life. You end up making decisions, and through this pandemic, we've made so many different decisions where we wouldn't have.
We made decisions for us as a family, not opposed to the world. And others.
I think that when we are finally past all this, I think that, especially for me and Ash and our family, we're just going to be stronger. We'll have more tools in tool chest and more interesting ideas that we would have never thought of if we weren't here. I just think that we will get past this, and we'll be stronger.
We really do like your honest feedback, and we love hearing from you guys. If you like our sit-down videos on stories or anything like that, definitely give us a shout-out on Instagram or anything like that, because we really do appreciate you guys.
Of course. We definitely want to hear your questions and things like that, and what everyone else is going through themselves, because I know I've heard of different parents going through this as well, whether it's similar to our child's condition or not.
Tell us how you felt, and what was your first immediate reaction when you heard that we were going through a shutdown and we were in a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, how did it go for your family? I mean, this hasn't happened in over 100 years. So, I mean, what's your take on all of this? And from the beginning to the end, what's been your thoughts, and what have you done? And, how have you made every day, interesting and fun?
With that note, I think we are going to put these munchkins to bed. But remember, family, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell to become part of the family. Until then, have a family-filled day, and we'll talk to you in our next video.